It took a lot from me back then to stay emotionally strong and keep pushing forward despite the constant feeling of like not getting anywhere. But now I feel like, wow, that's just like par for the course. It's not about attaching to the end result and even putting your mind there early on. It's just about
I know that you're in my head, and I know all that.
Hi, friends. Welcome to episode 3 of the Dream Life with Sumi podcast. I'm so excited to be here and to continue this journey with you all. This podcast is for high-achieving women who are super successful on the outside, but on the inside know there's something more for them. Something more authentic, something more in alignment with who they really are. And I am all about having those conversations. So my name is Sumi, and I was once in that boat. I had built a super successful life for myself on the outside. If you don't know me, I'll give a 2-second summary. I had, gone to the best universities and built an 8-figure business. And we were actually running at like 200 employees a year. I was in this life where I seemed so successful on the outside, getting all the accolades, honored at the White House, recognized at the UN, and I just couldn't feel happy about it. And so finally, after over a decade of doing that, I decided to change everything, sold the company, moved to LA, and started a new dream as a recording artist. And I will tell you that I've never been happier or more fulfilled, and I've never made a better decision for myself. But this podcast is going to talk about how some of the things that I did, even while building the company, led me to be able to be where I am today. The lessons I learned, the mindsets of success, the risks that I took, all of that kind of stuff. So in today's episode, I wanted to dive deep into 5 things that I would tell my younger self before I built this 8-figure company and was leading a team of 200 employees. Like, what do I wish I knew? And this is relevant to you no matter what goal you're going for, right? Because let's say you are climbing the corporate ladder, but you just wish that you could figure out what dream you really wanted to pursue, or just wish you had the courage to quit and start a gym, or just want to figure out how to make an income through your art, or maybe you realize you need to switch fields from finance to being a academic, or like, it doesn't matter what it is that you're working on. I want you to listen to this episode and listen to the entire podcast with the lens of whatever you're working on, whatever dream you're going for right now, because that's how this content is going to really land for you. I'm pouring like my heart and soul into this, and I want you guys to get the most out of your time, which is so valuable, so precious, and I'm so honored that you're here with me today listening to this. And so let's get into it. 5 things that I would tell my younger self before building this company that I wish I knew while I was building. First, you will succeed if you don't quit. And this is actually cool. I love that I'm doing this episode in this format right now, because I get to apply these lessons that I thought about, I wrote ahead of time with the mindset of my old company in my head. But now I'm thinking, like, what if I apply this to my career as an artist right now? Because I'm trying to break out in the LA music scene, and I'm trying to build a fan base and write better songs and work with better producers and just kind of like really find my lane. And it's going awesome. Like, I do sometimes step back and reflect, like, wow, I have like accomplished things that I never thought possible for me, but I know that I have so much more to go, right? I have so much more in me. So the first lesson that I would tell my younger self, that I would tell myself too also today, is that you will succeed if you don't quit. I feel like most people quit because the journey is so challenging. The journey of following your dream, or the journey of entrepreneurship, the journey of doing something outside of what was expected of you, is always going to be filled with like roadblocks and challenges that you might not have answers for. You might not have community around you who understand what you're going through. You might not have the skills to get through or get past. You might not have the people in your network that you need to get through or get on the other side of it. but that doesn't mean you can't create that. And so I think a lot of people quit when like we run into the inevitable roadblocks, but we just have to change our mindset and know that like if we keep going, if we get resourceful, if we do all those things I shared in episodes 1 and 2, we'll get through them. Somebody once said to me, the journey of entrepreneurship is just being a problem solver. Like, don't be shocked that you have to like solve problems every day. Like that actually is the challenge that we sign up for when we're chasing a dream or when we're starting a business or when we're doing something outside the norm. So I think just this mentality of little Sumi, if I would tell myself, if you just keep going, you're going to succeed. Like, that's just so cool. Like, you just know when you have that feeling like it's so inevitable, then you just go and you don't take things so seriously, which leads me to my next thing that I would tell little Sumi, which is that each opportunity or each relationship or each contract that you want to win or each potential client is not a make or break. And it's just part of the process of getting to the right one or getting to the win. And I was thinking about this because, in the previous episodes, I've shared that like rejection is par for the course. Like if you don't get through, it's a numbers game, right? Like if you don't get through the 10 no's, then you'll never get to your yes. Or better yet, 50 no's, then you'll never get to your yes. So it's just like each thing that you're doing is just getting you closer and closer to the end result. And I was thinking today about if I had known that ahead of time, I wouldn't have let each thing get me down, right? Because like there were so many things that I worked on and wanted to win and things that I thought were going to come our way that never materialized. It took a lot from me back then to stay emotionally strong and keep pushing forward despite the constant feeling of like not getting anywhere. But now I feel like, wow, that's just like par for the course. It's not about attaching to the end result and even putting your mind there early on. It's just about going through the process. And like same with my music career. Like I remember last year I released my first music video to my first single called Electric Baby. And it was so vulnerable for me, you guys. It took so much for me to get that out there in the world because I had to, I was changing my entire identity and I had to get comfortable with people seeing me in a totally different way and seeing me as an artist and putting my art out there where it was then like fully open to be criticized. And then I would feel like, well, are people going to think like, if it's not good, like, are they going to think that's the best you got when I'm like being so public about really wanting to do this? And those fears pop up. And I remember that I recorded a music video to Electric Baby and I hated the music video, you guys. But I think what I know now is that no one thing is going to be make or break. These are all just things that we have to go through. It's really cool when you can get to the point where that doesn't even like phase you anymore. And I think that I'm there now with my music. Like I recorded a music video to Say You Love Me last week and it was fun. Like I had an amazing time. It was so fun. And first of all, that's awesome that like I could just have fun with it and not be so concerned with like the end result. And if it doesn't look amazing once it comes out, because I tried to dance in it and I don't know how good that's going to look because it's the first time I'm doing that. But I'm not like worried about it. I'm like, okay, it's one thing. I'm going to have so many more things coming up. I can't get bogged down by worrying about this one thing. So similarly, like I think that can be applied to you in no matter what you are doing in life right now. Like, are you getting bogged down by getting so concerned about perfection, so concerned to make sure that every single social media post you make is getting a bunch of engagement or is the best you could ever do? Or are you just focused on going through the things, playing the numbers game and making progress and knowing that no one thing is going to make or break you? So that's the second thing I would tell little Sumi. The third thing that I wish I could have told myself is don't take things personally. Feedback is a good thing. No one needs you to be perfect. If you guys followed along from the last 2 episodes, you'll know that my dad came on as my CFO. We had to hire those 75 people that I mentioned. There was a lot there that he had to teach me. And I just wish that I had been more open-minded to his feedback instead of taking it personally, because I was insecure and because I wanted him to think that I was doing a good job. But the fact of the matter is, I had a lot to learn. And so if I could go back, I would tell myself that feedback is a good thing. If somebody is willing to give you feedback, that means they trust you enough to think that you'll be able to incorporate it into your life, into your behavior, and actually improve. It's like somebody having faith in you that you can get better. There are people, and I think that I'm one of those people now in many ways, who want feedback. Like, I don't want to be told that I'm doing a great job at everything. Like, I want people to tell me, how can I get better? Like, okay, great that you appreciated that I did, something like really well, but don't tell me about that. Tell me how I can improve. That's how I feel right now, like with my music goals and with my fitness goals and like everything that I'm doing now in life. I'm so committed to knowing, give me the feedback. I guess my point here for you all listening is like, do you know what kind of category you're in with this feedback topic? Because it's something that I don't find addressed a lot, but it's so important. Don't take feedback personally. Take it as a compliment. Somebody has faith in us that we can actually grow and get better. And I wish I had known that when I was building my company. Okay, 2 more things for y'all. The fourth one is that leading a team is going to be one of the most difficult things you'll ever do. This kind of plays into what I was just talking about, being in my 20s, thrown into this situation where I had suddenly this huge team and all of these employees to connect with, lead, get to know, understand, motivate, and make sure that we're meeting all of the metrics that our clients expected of us. It was a lot of responsibility. And I think if I could go back and tell myself something about that, it would be to connect more deeply with everybody on your team. I didn't understand the value of making people feel seen, heard, and understood. I was so results oriented, and that's what immature leaders do. We focused so much on, we have to get this done, and this is how we're going to get it done. And we forget that people are the key. And if people feel seen, heard, and understood, then your company will be successful. But if you think that everyone is just going to be a robot, and just because you have to get something done, they're going to get it done, or just because you said so, which is even worse, right? Like coming from leadership from just purely a place of authority with no trust or respect is the worst position to be in. So I would tell myself to take longer with each person, make them feel seen, heard, and understood, and really get how valuable they are to your company and treat them as such. Okay. And the 5th thing that I wish I would tell my younger self when I was growing my company is that if you try to be someone else, you will never be happy or at peace. Whew, that's a big one. And I think this one is probably relevant for so many of you guys listening. I could have been myself, but I was trying so hard to be someone else because I had such imposter syndrome that I thought that I had to act like I was older than I was, that I was more serious than I was. I'm like a goofy, artistic woman. And yet, all of that time, I'm like trying to put on this facade like I'm some serious button down. I was 26 or whatever, 30 even. I was not needing to fit in with the 60-year-old white men and act like them. But somehow, some part of me thought that like that's what was going to make me successful. And I think, to be honest with you, that like was a big self-sabotage. I wasn't bringing my whole self to work then. I didn't know even who the authentic me was. I was trying to just play the role of this corporate leader, and I was like, literally my gut was like in a knot the whole time. And I wish I could just go back and tell myself that there's no need to do that, little Sumi. Like, just be you. I had the same capabilities. Nothing would have changed. I would have just been more natural, and it would have been easier for me to communicate, for me to lead, for me to actually keep going and not quit. It probably would have been a much more fulfilling experience. When you're doing something, be authentic. And I think this is so relevant probably if you're listening to this and you're feeling like you don't like your job or you aren't feeling fulfilled in your work. Like, how much are you trying to mold yourself into something you're not? Or how much are you trying to pretend that you are something you're not? Versus how much are you just being you, being authentic, being real, communicating like you would to a friend? I think, too, culture has changed so much that nobody expects you to be like a corporate drone. Nobody expects you to be a robot. Like, bringing our passions and ourselves and our soul and our humor to work makes everyone happier. And so that's what I would tell little Sumi. Like, stop trying to pretend. First of all, you're not fooling anybody. Do you really think that I pulled off acting like a 60-year-old white man? No. I just seemed uncomfortable and unsure of myself because I was trying to be something that I wasn't. So those are the lessons that I came up with that I would tell my younger self before I built an 8-figure company with 200 employees, which, by the way, it's so rad, right? Like, I am at the point in my life right now where I can really be proud of my accomplishments, and I think we all should be. I think you should be so proud of whatever it is that you did do in life. Even if you're not where you want to be, even if it's not what you wanted to do, you should be so proud of yourself, because everything that we do takes so much courage and so much commitment and so much of going outside of our comfort zones that I hope that you're giving yourself that acknowledgement. I hope that you celebrate yourself for all that you do in life. So I'm proud of you, little Sumi, for doing these things and for going out there in a field that you had no clue how to navigate and trying your best to figure it out. If I could tell you or help you now, these are the things that I would tell you. If you're in a situation like I was in, take these things to heart. Know without a doubt that you will succeed if you don't quit. Know without a doubt that that's true. Don't take every single opportunity as a make or break thing in your life. Take it as par for the course. Remember that it's a numbers game and keep going. Do not take feedback personally. Be secure enough in yourself to know that you have something of value to offer. And if someone's giving you feedback, especially if you respect that person, take it with open arms and understand how you can improve. No one expects you to be perfect. 4, leading a team is so challenging, but the key is to recognize and acknowledge how important it is to make sure people feel seen, heard, and understood. Spend more time with the people. Don't be so results focused that you forget about your most important asset, which is your people. And then 5, be yourself. If you try to be someone else, you will never feel at peace. It's not worth it. Be fully yourself. Be fully authentic. Bring your whole self to any situation that you're in right now and witness how things change, because you're more at ease, you're more natural, so things will come more naturally and you will feel more comfortable and more powerful in every situation. So I hope this episode was helpful for you guys. It is my hope that you take something really powerful and juicy and a golden nugget, at least one, from every episode that you listen to. So share with me on Instagram, XOSumiX on Instagram. Let me know what you took away from this episode, what you're going to apply, what made you think, what issue you're facing right now. What was the most impactful piece of this episode for you? I would sincerely love to know who's listening and love to hear from you, and I will reply. So with that, I will see you on the next episode. Take care.
I know that you're in